Bye. Go ahead.
Hello, I'm Debbie Reynolds. Welcome to my hotel, casino, and Hollywood Motion Picture Museum. Today, I'm going to take you on a tour of our resort. Hey, nice hotel. Come on, let's go swimming. Or try the spa. How about a nice sauna? Get out and go golfing. Take a picture with me. Relax at Bogey's Bar. Stay up late with Jazz and jokes. Tour our elegant movie museum. Play cards. Hit the slots. See my show or other headliner acts at our Star Theater.
Get your troubles, just get happy. Better takes all your cares away. Sing hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the Dutchman dance.
Get your troubles, just get happy. You better chase all those moody blues away.
Let's see some rap, get into your step. Get ready for the Judgment Day. Head on over to the river to wash. Wash your sins away, wash them all away with the tide. Gotta be totally peaceful on the other side. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. Meditate all your cares away, away. Let's have a do it, nothing to it. Lose all your blues today. Forget your troubles, come on, get happy. Meditate all your cares away. Shout hallelujah, come on, get happy. Get ready for the Judgment Day. When will the day be? The big day, baby, tonight.
Wow. Good stuff. Look at that, huh? What do you think, Kat?
Hey, how are you doing?
What do you think about
I
that?
think it's, well, I think it's great. I miss her, and I remember her singing that song and going to see her, not then, but, in her last couple of years in Vegas, and she was great all the way up until, she was about 79 when she did her last show, I think. And she was always great, and I miss her. So I love this. And there are people out there saying, I'm really ready for a good show tonight. So I know you're going to entertain everybody with your stories. And
Well,
if I could just say,
I'm not going to do anything until I hear about where you are. Tell everybody what you're doing and what's happening.
okay, well, I will. I just got off the stage about 5 minutes ago. I did my last show tonight. I am performing at the Champlain Valley Fair,
Fairgrounds.
and that's in Essex Junction, Vermont. So I'm right in Burlington, Vermont, and I'm opened yesterday. And so I'm a little sweaty right now. I didn't have a chance to do any touch-up or anything, so sorry about that, everybody. But I had a great show tonight. We had a lot of fun.
Do you have
And,
Cat Cosmetics with you? You could have fixed everything.
You know what? You don't need to fix it. I literally put my makeup on this morning, and I've done 3 shows, just finished my last one, and it is warm outside.
So
The
does it
sun
go?
is
Does it go
out.
like this? Cat Cosmetics, good for 3 shows.
It's well, that's
No,
what
you put it on, and a year later, you still look the same.
A
It's
year
that good.
later. Wow.
it wears on, not off.
Wears on, not off.
It
Get
wears
buried
on,
in it.
not
Look good
off.
for eternity.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Well, if anybody is anywhere near Vermont, come and see the shows. And, it's such a beautiful fair. I've never actually been to Vermont before, and I've never played this, certainly not this fair. And I thought it was small, but it's not. It's very big, and there's a ton of people. And I love how people here all come out, to have a good time. We had maybe 20 people hypnotized on stage tonight. Everybody was really good. For many of them, it was their first time. But enough about me. Let me just say how much I miss you. I miss the chickens. I miss Seth. I miss Ryan. I miss Linda. And I miss, my home. But I only, after today, 8 more days and I'll be back, and I'm so excited. But most of all, let me just say this. I miss all of you out there that are watching the show. I miss being able to communicate with you live on Friday and tonight because it's hard for me. But I know that I saw some, Richard Cleve is here, Kathy Gans, Kathy Hobbs. I saw Drew Jameson, so he's here from England tonight. Debbie Rouse, she's here from Australia.
Well, Seth
Theo
could look for you if you. Oh, you see everybody. You see
I
him.
do. I actually have YouTube on, so I'm seeing Theo, who I saw in West Virginia. He came to my shows, and I love Theo. He's a real night rider kind of historian, and I love that. He's very young, and he's so smart. He and his brother are super smart, and I've known them since they were teenagers because I've been doing shows there for so long. And so we have Alex Burkus, and Theo, and Dwayne Shell, who's always up for a good time. Jama Taylor, Judy Who, I love that name. And John Greer. Hi, John. Frank is here. Randy Waddle is here. Sandra, Barb Cavern, Diane Boat. Hi, Diane. And and I'm sorry if I didn't catch your name, but I'm in the motorhome right now behind the stage. Just got off stage and jumped into here. So I'm not going to stay long because we don't have a lot of restaurants here that are open late. So if this girl could eat a horse and chase the driver after a show. So does anybody miss me?
We miss you.
We
of
all
course.
miss you. We're going.
I want you to.
Well, we do. It's working.
Yeah.
No, we do.
Well, I heard that Todd said, we have a chicken, my little hen, that sleeps on our headboard at night. Her name is Jaja. And then we have Nugget, who's my old rooster. He's very old, and he sleeps on the end of the bed. But Todd said that, Seth, you've been perching on the headboard next to Jaja while I've been gone.
Well, we've been sharing. Well, now that he's renamed me Ava, so we're just sisters now. We just wear our
Ava,
feathers
darling.
darling, that we just wear our feathers and perch together, darling. But we don't. But she uses a bathroom on the bed, but I don't do that.
Yeah, that's the good thing about Seth. He's clean.
Well, anyway, I know that you have a lot of stories to tell, and I want you to be able to do that. But I'm just going to hang for a few minutes before I try to run and find a restaurant that's open.
Well, is
'cause
there
I'm
anything we need?
seriously hungry.
Is there anything we want to update while Kat is sitting here? Like Ryan, you can think of anything with Kat that while we have her undivided attention?
There's my Ryan.
Hello.
I
Let's
miss
see.
you.
I know. It's not the same.
What?
I don't know that I can think of anything. I think that you are just just
Off and
enjoy
running?
yourself.
Off and running?
Yeah, you're
Off and running.
yeah.
Well-
I just really miss being on the set there, and so it'll be nice when I get home and we can do that together on the set, and I can be with you all and have my Friday night shows. Just everybody, before I go, I just want to just say thank you so much for watching our show, and if you love what we do, like and subscribe, and we'll keep doing it as long as you want us to. And so I just wanted to say that. And also, if you're near Vermont, if you're anywhere in New England, come and see me. I'll be here playing every night. I'll be here every night until September 1st.
Does that
And
include
then
Seth and I? Are we invited
fly
too?
home on September 2nd.
Are Seth and I invited also? Or does somebody have to hold down the
Yes,
fort?
yes. I love you. I miss you so much, Todd, and I cannot wait until I can get home and we can sit in bed and watch old movies and just be together.
Well, I
miss
can
you. It's a
assure
long
you
time
that
I've been gone.
I can assure you that I'm holding up the tradition of the old movie part of the equation. At any rate, So Catered Affair was actually on a couple of days ago, in fact.
That's right.
One of my favorites.
Me too.
And I do want to say, I'm going to take my phone with me because I want to watch the show. I'll just put my ear pods in so I don't bother people in the restaurant, because I love this old footage of the hotel and the story, because I really didn't know a lot for this. And last week I saw so much new stuff. So stay tuned, everybody, for the rest of the show, because I think it's going to be great tonight. I'm going to take my phone with me and watch it.
Well, there's a lot of new footage for sure. And some of this footage that we're going to be showing crosses over with stories that we've either already told or we're going to tell. I'm going to read from my mother's book, Unsinkable, a little bit. And, you know, we're going to hear sort of the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll try to lean on the good as much as I can. At this point, it's kind of water over the
life is like that.
That's
right. Everybody has the good, the bad, and the ugly. And the good is really good because we compare it to the things we haven't enjoyed that happens in our lives. And it's what makes a real life, is to experience everything. And we don't get out of here alive without it. So
well, I just want to say that you looked fantastic. Am I missing something? I mean,
no, I
great,
mean,
right?
you really do. If I looked like that when I got off of a stage, my God, I look like an 8th Avenue you-know-what when I get off a stage. I mean, no, you look great.
Thank you. I'm telling
what do
you,
you attribute this to? What do you attribute this to?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm happy. I love people and I love what I do, and I am somewhere new, which is fun. I don't know. I just think that when you're happy, it shows in your face and your spirit. And I think that beauty is way more than what we see. When we look at people, we feel them. We feel
Get me
their
a Starbucks
energy.
out of the fridge.
I think it's important to be happy and just do your best and look up and have hope and all of that. That's important, and it makes us stay young too. That's what I think.
That sounds like the lead into a song.
Forever young, right? It's so true.
Oh, that's all right. Because it's coffee. So I'm exchanging drinks. This was yours, right? Yeah, but you can. No, I don't want to take it. I'm happy.
I didn't drink out of it.
As you know,
No more caffeine for Todd Fisher.
I don't have. I haven't had any caffeine for hours. It's been in the morning. I had so I'm jacking back.
So
up. I'm plugging back in.
I just wanted to address really quickly, because some people, and Ryan, you might be able to explain this better than I.
Why don't you walk up here if you know
some
what you're
people.
doing.
Oh, okay, I'll walk up. I don't
And
know.
if you
Okay.
turn around, even people
Well,
can see you.
because
Now
everybody
you're on.
can see my Kardashian rear right now.
Now,
Where am
step
I?
down 2 steps.
Oh,
and
okay,
you'll be
step
in
down
focus,
2
and
steps.
Now you're on. Beautiful.
You're
Ta-da!
wasting away to nothing.
Oh, that's so sweet. No, I don't know what some things are left.
Seth, you're a slip of a thing.
I'm a slip of a thing. Well, that's
His
very
goal
nice.
is to fit into my mom's dress.
Exactly. I'm trying to fit into this thing right here. That's why I'm trying to lose the Kardashian tush. But anyway, some people are asking in the comments, and Ryan, you can explain this, what the dollar signs are for. And I'll let you take that away, because we actually are we are introducing tonight a special version of our randomizer. So I'll let you talk about that before we get started on the show.
We are. So one of the things that you see, those of you who are in the chat, one of the things you see people are doing is you see this really colorful thing that comes up and highlights their name. People are donating a couple of dollars. And because we're getting into the big leagues now, YouTube has enabled us with something called like super stickers or super chats. So basically at the bottom of your chat, you'll see that there's like a little dollar sign to the right of it. If you are so inclined, you're able to donate just a couple of bucks. Where does the money go, you ask? Well, it takes a small village to create this show, as you might imagine. So the money is going to be earmarked for the production of the show and for the most recent project that we are working on with the Legacies. So right now it's the Debbie, the DEBBIE lights, which is the next project. So that money we've decided is going to be earmarked for specifically for that. So if you feel so inclined to donate, we are going to allow you to ask a question. I'm going to accumulate the questions here. If we have time at the end of tonight's show, Todd will answer some of them. If not, we'll save them for the start of the next show. But the really cool thing is, just for these folks we are introducing tonight, because some people did it last week, so I want to share this with you. We have
Worth? That-
something called, oh, it's not that one. We have something called the Super Wheel. So the Super Wheel is going to be just like our prize wheel, except, let me get the right thing up here for you. Here we go. Super cool. So this is our Super Wheel, and the Super Wheel is going to consist just of the names of the folks who decided that they wanted to contribute to this. So last week, the names that you see on your screen right now, these folks here, are the people who became those super donors in the chat. So I've already added them to the Super Wheel, and after we're done with our regular prize giveaway, we're going to give away a nicer prize.
Well,
something
and
that's
I
like
have
a
it
step
right.
up from
I
what we
actually,
normally
I
do.
have it right here. This is.
Awesome.
So we're going to do a Frank Worth picture, kind of a behind-the-scenes picture
Wow.
of Kirk Douglas. Now, this is one of the normal stamped estate. Let me go to the close-up camera, and we can see a little better shot of it, maybe. Let's see if I can. Is that in focus okay? So that's the Kirk Douglas, and you can see the stamp there on the bottom of the Frank Worth estate. But that's a candid shot. I'm guessing he's in a coat. It's obviously on the set, by the way, because I'm looking in the background, and there are movie lights in the background. So this might be like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. You know, this is where he played the director, I think. But at any rate, whatever the movie is, so this is like, you know, I mean, a minimum of like $100 value or more that's going to go back to people who want to play. I feel like we're turning this. It's like getting to more. I feel like in a minute I'm door number 1, door number 2, or door number 3. Which is it? No,
Well,
I mean,
we wanted to do something special because we
yes.
didn't even really know that this existed. And then Kyle pointed out, like, hey, we have this, and people are still asking. Like, there's a little $sign to the where you type in that you're going to chat. There's a little $sign box to the right of that. You just click on that, and you know you can donate $1. And we didn't really know it was there, and we thought, what are we going to do with this, you know, money? And we thought, well, we have things that we're using the auction money for already. So,
Yeah, and I love this because also you just reminded me that Kyle is here. There's, you know, Kyle is here. He's behind the scenes, but he is so valuable to us. Ryan, you are so valuable. Seth, you're valuable. I am valuable. Todd's valuable. We put so much time into the show. So it does take a village to do the show, and we appreciate it very much. But I just want to say, Brian, you did a great job of describing that, and just to let people know that we're going to do the regular wheel too, and then we'll do the super wheel.
Yes.
After that, and your name, so tonight's donators will show up on next week's super wheel, right?
that's
correct.
right. And survey says, survey says,
And if you want to be on the regular wheel, just say hi in the chat, and
Yeah,
I
if
pull
you say
your
hi
name
in the
out and add
chat.
it to the wheel.
Ryan sees you, he puts your name on the regular wheel, and you have a chance to win one of 8 prizes there. So we loved our giveaways, and so thanks, Ryan. I'm gonna pop out so I can go get food before I faint. And I just want to say I love everybody so much, and I'll be seeing you next Saturday.
We love
The
you.
Saturday after that,
We miss
I'll
you.
be home. I love you guys, all of you out there. Thank
All
you
right.
so much.
okay.
I love you, honey, and I'll talk to you later before Betty bed. Okay.
All right. I love you too. What's
Thank you, everybody.
Ryan, do you want me to?
Bye.
Bye, kitty
Do you want
cat.
me to take off with real
Bye,
quick to
Seth.
do a quick review on the auction stuff to get out through that, right?
That would be a great
Yeah,
idea.
let's-
Yep, and then you
All
can
right.
start the
So
show.
if you go to my screen, my Apple TV
Okay,
screen.
we have his screen. He wants me to go. You want it up here?
Yeah, well, for the people, because I have the page where they can go and bid right
well,
now.
because I can put it up here.
Yep, there we go.
And
So
this is a good point. So there's also a button on the YouTube page, but you can go to the DebbieReynoldsStudioStore.com and see some of the items. I'm going to try to go through this stuff quick because I think.
We'll just go through it really
well,
quick.
we discussed it last week, but there is the carry check, which I think is the most important thing we've actually put up in a very, very, very long time. So I have my sister's check here, written and the Star Wars time, December 5th of '77, for $150 to cash, and it's her signature also on the back, just so you know. She endorsed it to herself to the Chemical Bank of New York. So this is a double signature check of Carrie's. And I've never had a Carrie's check before, so I can assure you that this is very rare. And if you were to look on the internet anywhere, you would see 0 checks. So this has substantial meaning for a Carrie collector. In order of things, he's got we still have the Monday at the Movies poster up. Oops, I'll go.
Do you want me to go get it?
Well, I'll just jump up. It's I got chief cook and bottle washer here. So this is the Monday at the Movies poster that we have. And this is signed by Jane Russell. So last week we ran a clip of Jane being interviewed by my mother, which we're going to post. We should have already posted it, really, but we're going to post that on its own. But when we did that show, the audience came, and this was what was out in front of the casino, out in front of the showroom. And then at the end of the show, Jane signed it. So this is just like a one-off of one-offs. And the name of our program was Money at the Movies. So we chose this because it related to the hotel. Now, I believe that with that is also a Frank Worth, very sexy Frank Worth of Jane, which I will put up also. Oh, well, you want to click on that, or how do you want to do it? Or is that
I'll
it?
click on it if you want. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, anyway, this is a real, well, I can show it in the, I don't want to waste time. This doesn't move
I
too
say
slow.
we just show it on there
it
because
goes too slow.
it's
the full-
easier.
I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll just put it on my camera because it takes too long to show all this stuff. So there's the sexy Jane on the set. A lot of legs in that picture. So anyway, she was very cool. I'll tell some stories further about that. Next item is where is the bowl?
it's over here.
Oh, it's here somewhere. Well, we don't need it.
But yeah,
Sorry.
let's
There's
just
a great
do that,
picture
yeah.
of it. So this next item was like you could use it as a serving bowl for soup or anything. It's a sizable bowl. I guess give it to me real quick. So that is a Greenway House item. And this, my mother had her favorite set of china like this, but this didn't perfectly match for whatever reason. So I decided that I would let it go and let somebody enjoy this. I mean, you could do a lot with this, but it is china, so you can't, it's a little on the delicate side. I mean, you can't like put a flower thing in it very easily. So then the next item would be what? Oh, this item. Okay, we're back to sterling silver. If you remember, this is a marked sterling silver antique. Maybe not antique, but I guess anything this old. It's going to be 50 years old probably. So this is another item from the Greenway House. These were probably a little candy dish or serving dish. We've had similar items, but this was a one-off piece. So this was a standalone piece. And going over to his close-up cameras, you could see the ornate nature. So that's a really cool item. And we're going to, this alone, given that it's sterling silver, is valuable just as silver goes. But anyway, a very collectible piece. And I think the last thing, was it the hotel stock certificate? What's the last thing? Yep, so the program I don't think is important, but really rare. This is the hotel stock certificate. It's signed by me, right there. This was a public company, the hotel and casino. So this was and this is even more interesting, my wife had passed away in 2008, Christy. This was one of her stock certificates. So it's issued to her. It's got some interesting history to it. There's not a lot of this going to be floating around because, it wasn't like there was 1 million shares floating around out there of this stock. So that's it for the auction items, correct? Okay, quick review on what we're putting up. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, because we just have 2 things
okay,
for
we're
this
going to
week.
do fast. We've decided, because all this takes too long, that we're going to do just 2 auction items, maybe a week. Still do the claim sale and all of the stuff we've been doing, but we're going to just do 2 auction items. Maybe kick them up a little higher in value, possibly. So right now we chose this. This is a movie magazine that's in really good shape, but it's actually signed as well. So I can't reach that far. Here we go. So you see it's a signed Debbie piece. So that's I like these. I have a pretty good collection, but I don't have very many signed ones because I don't really collect the signed version of this. But I did have this magazine, but I have to admit, this is in like mint condition. And it's a good one. It's a Tony Curtis and Janet Leigh, Is Our Marriage in Trouble? I still want to read from these. Where's the other one? I have it here. Good. I want to do a whole show on crazy movie magazines. A new year for Debbie, her plans, her future, her second marriage. And we all know what happened there. Nightmare. Okay, that's first item. This last item was what? Oh, this.
Right? Yep.
Okay, another Greenway item. This is, I'm almost gonna, it's a serving dish. It is soft metal, so it's not sterling, but it's heavily plated because it tarnished up, and we really had to work hard to get this cleaned up. But it's beautiful serving dish. It's a sterling plated item. But my mother liked it enough to, have it as a primary piece from the Greenway era, and nobody would know that that's not pure silver. So there's a chance to get something without having to pay for a lot of money in silver. So I think that piece is beautiful, and so there's a chance to get a really nice serving piece from Greenway, and I certainly don't have that much of that I'm willing to part with, so that happens to be, and the only reason why I am is because I have so much. The Greenway house was a big house, and we had these big parties, so a lot of the stuff, it's over the top. I have like 5 sets of silver, literally silver flatware, that at 24 pieces, and all. It's like there's a point where it's like, wow, I don't even know where to begin with some of this stuff. So that is why I share it, because I think it's what you would want, knowing there's no chance I could ever use it. It's not like I'm going to reenact the golden era of Hollywood and throw Greenway parties here in Vegas. Wait a minute, that's a good idea.
Well, that's not true.
Maybe
We
should
talked
do
about
that.
charging for that. Yeah, no, I
Maybe we ought to
can't.
do that. Anyway, if we do, we'll use what we have, and those of you that buy this stuff, bring it, and we can use it for the party.
It's a potluck.
Potluck, exactly. All right, so we're ready to move on to the show, unless I'm missing something.
To the hotel? No, I'll just move that Jane Russell poster.
Okay,
We'll
you
get
can
that
take
out of the way.
So what we're going to do is start with some film clips, right?
Sure, yeah, because when we left off last, you were talking about the hotel, and your mom had just opened the showroom.
Okay, so if you weren't with us last week, I did a whole, 30 minutes on the early days of the hotel. We ran film clips of my mother renovating the bathrooms and discussing wall coverings and what the showroom was going to be. And so we're going to give you part 2, and then next week will be part 3, the last part, and then Kat's home. And we chose these subject matter because Kat wasn't around for this, so it's a subject that I know very well. And we have some backup. My mom liked to talk about it in her book, so we're going to read from the book. But I think first we want to go ahead and run these clips.
Well, yeah, and so right behind you, actually, because they never really got to see the finished product of the lobby.
Oh, well, we haven't, okay,
Is
they haven't seen
Debbie-
it yet. All right, so that's a still picture of my mother in the lobby. And what's kind of cool about this picture, it's full of Hollywood memorabilia. These are the Gone with the Wind chandeliers, but they were used in many, many other movies as well at MGM. These were the big puffs that you'd see in movies all over the place. Tables are from MGM, the sterling silver floral arrangement, Harold Lloyd's piano. You see those bronze pots over there were from the London Bridge. So the lobby was literally decorated, with stuff that I grew up around. And it's a beautiful job. And that ceiling, Jerry Wunderlich designed the lobby. So what do you expect? So it's opulent. It really is classy. Those railings up above there are from the Dunes Hotel. We literally raped the Dunes Hotel. There was no way that we were going to let anything go to waste there. So we hauled off everything we could and reused it, and then we added our stuff. So that really made it a very classy property. And my mom was very proud of that. You could see how proud she is of her little hotel, as she used to say. All right, so we're going to hit you with some clips, and then I'm going to talk.
Okay, so do we want to play we'll do the one,
Thalia.
so this is from the 1-year anniversary of the showroom.
But you're showing it because it shows the showroom, and also we talk about, last week I talked about Thalia Dondero, who's the county commissioner in Vegas, and really helped us a lot. I told some stories about her last week, so this would have been a clip to go with it, but these marathon shows, so we're trying to spare you too much all at once. So you take it in small bites. So here she goes. Ready? Go.
And whenever I needed a helping hand, and Todd, my son Todd Fisher and Joe Bianchi were doing this room, why we would call Thalia Dondero, because Thalia's been here such a long time. She knew all the rules. We didn't know the rules. We didn't know the rules of Vegas. I'd already learned the rules of life, but I hadn't learned the rules of Vegas. Now I know the rules of Vegas. a little bit better, and I hope that we've kind of joined the family here in Vegas, because I've always loved Vegas. I've worked here, as most folks have, all know, over 40 years, and I've always really, really loved it, and I'm very happy living here. And I truly am very proud of our little accomplishment here, no matter how hard we have all worked and still have to work. But it's worth it when you do something right and something a little different and something special and something more family. And I know that it's going to take a lot of effort still on our parts through the next years. Perhaps I can just say year. I'm going to say year. Then I'll feel better. But we'll do it. We can always do it as long as we stay united and care about each other, not have sides, but just love each other and the project. That's the main thing. Of course, from day one, as you know, in this particular area has been my son, Todd Fisher, and by my side throughout the whole hotel. Without him, I would have given up. I just, I feel so blessed that somehow our paths crossed and that you all came here to help me and Todd. And the lady I want to introduce to you is Thalia Dondero, who is our county commissioner of Clark County. And of course, I'm never going to miss her in my life, but I certainly will miss her in that particular office. Oh, we all will. And I love her very much. I'd like you to say hello to Thalia. Here she is. Thank you, darling.
It is wonderful to be here and to see what you've done with this room, because when I came by a number of times, it didn't always look like this. So I know how much hard work that went into it and how much Todd and all of his staff and all of your staff have really put it together. And so it's a beautiful place, and we want to say that it's your first anniversary. And you know something? I brought along a proclamation, but first I got to put on my glasses.
Oh, good. I'll feel better. I can't see a thing anymore. It's better that way.
It states that whereas it is the policy and pleasure of the Board of County Commissioners to recognize and honor those outstanding citizens who have contributed greatly to the betterment of our community, and whereas Debbie Reynolds has fulfilled her dream of opening the Debbie Reynolds Hotel Casino Hollywood Movie Museum, and whereas for more than 30, 40 years, whatever we want to say, the Las Vegas community has had the good fortune to enjoy the many talents of one of the entertainment world's most respected performers. And whereas it has been our good fortune during the last year to admire Mrs. Reynolds as one of our leading businesswomen, whose tireless dedication and sparkling imagination has provided us with a marvelous addition to our Las Vegas skyline. Now, therefore, on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, I do hereby take this opportunity to honor Debbie Reynolds and to extend our congratulations on 1-year anniversary. And Debbie, we really thank you.
Let's get after it.
All right. So,
And
all right. So
remember all the good Girl
stop
Scout.
it. You can stop it. Okay. So that lady was instrumental in, helping us get over some hurdles. Some were created by Mr. Hamlet, husband number 3, but others were just things we didn't understand about how Vegas works, how the planning department works, and so she was really helpful. But it was great. It was like, here's this woman, 2 women, powerful women. That lady ran this town, so very impressive. And then look at them, they're really cute together. And she's honoring my mom as a businesswoman, which people really didn't think of her as that at all. But here we were running a casino and this hotel and all, and then of course the museum. And a thing that happened that was kind of cool simultaneously to all this is that my mother was subsequently inducted into the Gaming Hall of Fame, which is the This is the Gaming Hall of Fame. Debbie Reynolds is an entertainer and casino owner, and this is her, and one of the only women casino owners ever in the history of Vegas. You talk about a man's world. I mean, this town, had no time for girls other than in show costumes. But there were no girls running casinos. So my mom had the audacity to come into this town and open this hotel casino. So it was a remarkable thing to do. But it was obviously difficult thing to do at the same time. By the way, what's our other clip so I know how to lead into that? Okay. All right. So we're gonna hear a little bit from my mom here. Now we just did in many ways. Did you hear how beautiful, she expressed herself there in the beginning of that, where she was talking about unity and everybody getting along, and she was doing that because we had just come out of a difficult time with her husband walking out of the showroom during a performance, the first performance, opening the showroom. So it was obviously before this, but we were coming out of some conflicted times. So here we go. Reading from Unsinkable. With the Star Theater finally open and the hotel operational, I needed some time to catch my breath. Events had been moving so fast in the past year, but mostly things seemed fine. If I didn't look too closely, I had finished my shows for the second night without a hitch. It was at least 2 a.m, a glass of white Zinfandel wine in hand. I sat looking through the open French doors that led to the balcony at the other end of the living room in my Vegas apartment. From my seat, a little round glass dining table, I could see over the small balcony to the glittering lights of the city. I always loved this apartment that I had bought after my divorce from Harry Carl in '73. It was small and cozy. I poured another glass of wine. Oh, yes. And I thought about the past few years. Chaos in the showroom finally turned to joy as we managed to open only a few hours late. Then my husband walked out in the middle of my first show, and I hadn't seen him since. Classy guy. I had heard rumors that Richard had a mistress at the Stardust Hotel. Loud whispers. People must have known. He was willing to have an affair with a girl named Jane Parker. She had come to Vegas from Roanoke, Virginia with Richard to help him pass his time while everyone else was working round the clock to finish the showroom in time for opening night. He didn't want to believe it. Why would Richard be cheating with her? I met her and I didn't think much about her. How could he find the time when we were all so busy? I guess people can always find the time for affairs. Isn't that interesting, though, because this has happened to her by this point. This is a third time of men cheating on her. So what is it about this beautiful, talented woman that attracts schmucks, that have no class and don't know how to behave, and find that they should be able to cheat on her? I mean, it's clear that she was a magnet to that. That's why she later in life said her picker is broken. But the truth is, people would have gotten in line.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. Your mic is scratching your face.
Oh, see, I should have shaved.
Yeah, just a little stuff.
So you hear some noises?
Yeah, they said they're just a little
Okay,
scratching.
I'm just putting it
stubble.
away. Now it should be away from my mouth a little better. Let me know if that happens again, everybody. Okay, so skipping ahead just a tiny bit. Finally, I heard from someone at the front door. I sat quietly as Richard closed the door behind him and latched the security chain. I was dreading the coming confrontation, but I wanted to know where he had been and why his name had been added to the deed on the hotel. Now, anyway, I'll get back to that, but I had done a title search on the property and it wasn't in her name. Richard's appearance made things easier for me. He looked and smelled like sex. Ooh, that has a certain tinge to it, doesn't it? Really class. You're going to hang with Debbie Reynolds and you're going to smell like sex. Okay, it's her words, not mine. His gray hair tousled just enough to make me think he had recently tumbled out of bed. He smiled when he saw me, that charming smile that I used to love. Now it made me angry. I was sure he was hiding something. What are you doing so late, up so late, darling? And, he had this really classy little Virginia accent. He asked innocently. Well, I'm waiting for you to come home, she says. Where have you been for the past day and a half? This is after the opening of the hotel. Richard glanced at an empty wine bottle. I was working, he says. She says, where, at a brothel? You smell like sperm. I hope it's yours. Richard looked at me wearily and said, you've been drinking. You bet I have, she says. I held up the deed to the Angelo lot. Okay, so she was talking about this property they had bought in Beverly Hills that was using her pension money, and he wasn't supposed, it was supposed to be, owned by her pension, not by him. Why is your name on this? You do not own this property. It's our property, he says, with his blue eyes filled with anger. I glared at him and sat down across at the table. No, it's ours. I paid for it. It's my lot. He said, you need to sign this. I pushed my lawyer's paper across the table to him. Richard reached for my hand. Why don't we go out on the balcony and talk about this, he says. Excuse me? I'm not going anywhere with you. This conversation is over. We could talk about this outside, he says. Richard insisted in trying to get up and get me to go out and open the French doors. My hands gripped the edge of the table in defiance. The setting was perfect. My handsome husband and I sitting at a lovely glass table that had once been in a movie, while outside the night was turning into a beautiful hue before dawn. I could feel my marriage hanging in the balance. Let's get all this out in the open, I said. Who have you been seeing? Do you really have a mistress? If you can have a mistress, I should be able to keep that lot that I paid for. Well, there's a fair trade, okay. So this is somebody who's got a little bent on the justice of things. I mean, after Harry Carl, I guess that would seem like a good deal. I think you could sign it back to me. I deserve it. You walked out of my show on opening night. You've done a lot of bad things at the hotel. You presented yourself to me one way, and now you're somebody else. So sign the paper and get out. Come outside, let's talk. Richard repeated, his skin flushed with rage. No, sign this paper. I want my property back. Richard stood and stormed up and down the living room. This is like, makes soap operas look like nothing. Head was spinning from anger, disappointment, and a bottle of wine. Finally, he came back to the table and said, all right, I'll sign it. Come outside. Let's be friends. Rattlesnake. Sign it, I said. Then we'll be friends. Anyway, should I just keep going? You like all it? Okay, it's pretty intense what's about to happen. I mean, obviously she didn't get thrown off the balcony, but you know that's what she's thinking. He scribed his name hastily across the deed of papers, took my hand to lead me to the balcony. Look at his eyes scared me. Why did he seem so intent on getting me out on the balcony, which is only about 3 feet wide, not enough room to have a friendly conversation? Was he thinking about my life insurance policy with him as the beneficiary? I could practically see the dollar signs floating above his head. Man, he was a corny cartoon monster. At that moment, through the haze of my wine, I was sure he was going to toss me off the balcony. One shove and his troubles would be over. I pictured myself plummeting 12 stories to the pavement. I have to go to the bathroom, I said, pulling myself away from him. You go out on the balcony. I'll meet you there in a few minutes. I ran to the bathroom and looked for a place to hide. I didn't know where to find one, but I wasn't going to go anywhere near Richard on that balcony. I opened my closet door and quietly closed the door behind me. I shimmied up a pole to the top shelf where I kept my big luggage and quilted bags. I slid behind the bags. Now, I know that this is a big closet, okay, but it's like, imagine her climbing up on a shelf to get behind the luggage. I mean, geez. I was completely hidden. After all the work I'd been doing the past few months, I was down to 95 pounds, enough to fit behind the duffel bags and big satchel bags. All I could do now was pray. I shook with fear as silence enveloped the apartment. Time passed. I held my breath. I heard him walking around the apartment, slamming doors, calling my name. I really did have to pee. I wished I'd taken a minute to go prior to hiding. Let me skip ahead because this goes on a little bit. Finally, I heard the front door closed. As quietly as possible, I climbed off the shelf, lowering myself to the closet floor. I curled up for another 20 minutes, staying very still. God, I had to pee. Hoping desperately that Richard was really gone, I crept down the hall to the front door. The security chain was hanging loose, a sign that he had left the apartment. I mean, this guy was a sociopath, and we didn't know it. And he literally was living a double life, like the Ronald Colman movie, A Double Life. I mean, you know, and the guy, he was literally like a Shakespeare play, this guy. I mean, he's like such a bizarre personality split. But at this moment, he's really been caught, and a mistake is when you take away them, they have nothing to lose, and if you do that to a sociopath, you could be in great danger. And she didn't realize that's what she had done, because prior to this, we had already sort of taken a lot of stuff away from him, and now he's getting caught with his hand in the cookie jar on the property deeds and things like that. We didn't know how deep it had gone yet. This is before I get a phone call from the controller at the hotel. I mean, this is within a week or two of all this. I get a call at the hotel we had a lady controller, really sweet lady. And she comes into my office. I'm not running the place yet. I'm just the entertainment director and building the showroom. She comes to me knowing my connections to my mom, and she bursts into tears. I'm like, what kind of an accountant comes in the office and bursts into tears? This is not going to be good. I'm sure of that. And she lays down in front of me a bunch of wire transfers that have gone out of the country. And Richard had been sending money out of the country. She showed me some that he had double leased some of the furniture and equipment in the hotel and pocketed one of the leases. So the hotel was stuck with a double bill. Imagine, like, say the showroom equipment's worth $500,000. So you have two leases for the same equipment. Now, this is fraud, but the only person that knew about it was him. So we're paying two payments on the showroom equipment, and he runs off with half the dough. I mean, it's just, the guy was clever. I'll give him that. But you see what's happening here. I mean, she thinks, and it's true now that you go back in hindsight, you think about what happened. Did I ever tell the raid on Roanoke story? Do you recall? Is that in the book?
There's a chapter of it.
Okay,
in the
well,
book,
I could tell this story without reading it to you. I mean, it's not far from here, right? It's like one chapter.
It's probably about 2 chapters back.
2 chapters
from that,
away.
yeah.
Well, at any rate, I'll tell you what, I won't do that yet. What I'll do is I'll just suffice it to say that we are thrilled that the showroom's open. I mean, she is elated with with how beautiful it was, and the public had really responded. I mean, like, it was sold out every night. Everybody wanted to see her in Vegas in her little showroom. It was a step beyond what anybody had ever done before in our business. No performer ever owned their own and built their own showroom, and performed in their own showroom. I mean, everybody always worked for the casinos and whoever owned the casinos. So it could be anybody from corporate stuff to the mafia to the Binions. I mean, you name it. There's been a lot of big Vegas owners over the decades. So what was our next clip, did you tell me? You could talk. All right. I guess.
But we have time. I mean, you're doing good.
Okay,
on time,
I'm doing
so,
good.
yeah.
I'm trying to be conscious of these shows turning into 2 3-hour shows. So I don't want to bore anybody with that. But
The
we had
comments
this.
are coming in, so you're not boring anybody.
Okay, no one's bored. So, I mean, you liked all the. Well, I mean, I wasn't quite. I had forgotten that she had talked about him smelling like sex. That was always an entertaining description of Richard. But we, at one point, after we had discovered all of this extortion and fraud, we really didn't have like definitive proof of everything. We had stuff from related to the hotel, but we're thinking like, wow, I mean, this might be like bigger than anybody has ever even imagined. And how long has this been going on, really? And so my mother says to me, we had like, I want to say we had a day off on a Monday, let's call it. So Sunday after the show, we rented a jet. And Margie, my mother's friend and assistant and confidant, Fred Pearson, Mark Rich, Margie's son, who's been with the family forever, a friend of the family's, myself and my mom, we got on a jet and we flew to Roanoke in the middle of the night. And in the morning, we call it the raid on Roanoke. We went to his house, their house, but he was gone. He was gone on a trip with this girl Jane on their honeymoon. This was their anniversary. So my mother's in Roanoke, Virginia for Richard's anniversary with her. He's gone on a cruise with his girlfriend. And we get to the house, and the house is locked. She doesn't have a key. And so I'm like saying, well, don't worry about that. I'll break in. And she's, like somebody was like, oh, no, don't do that. I'm like, what are they going to say? You're breaking into your own house. It's our house. What can you possibly say? I didn't care at all. We were all so mad at this point that we're like, no, we're not. We're going in. So fortunately, I was able to jimmy a window open, and we went in. I climbed in the room, opened up the doors, started going through the house. And she found in his bedroom, next to his bed, that he had had a child with this girl for years on the cuff that she didn't know about. And we found all the letters to her and all of this information. And we were like, now I'm looking at her as she's sitting on the bed reading this stuff, and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, what's going to happen here? I mean, is she going to break down? I'm like, I didn't know what she was going to do, because I'm thinking this is a nightmare. You're coming back, and not only all your suspicions are now confirmed, but beyond the betrayal, man. I mean, having a child with another woman while you're married to Debbie Reynolds. What is so bad being married to Debbie Reynolds that not good enough that you'd want to have this other thing? Well, it was literally like a freaking movie. Because, it's like the movie where they're going to bump off the ex-wife so you can be with the other woman and live this double life. And that's what he was doing. And it was like, I was like blown away, but not, I was thinking she's going to cry. I mean, something's going to happen here. But no, she just got super, super quiet and tough. And she was very resolved. I mean, it was like the steel door, I heard it come down, and with a crashing, thunderous, reverberous sound that echoed through the canyons. And that was it for him. It was all over. So we went through the house. She took some of her things. We actually, because Mark was with us, we rented a Ryder truck, like a 26 truck with a liftgate, and we emptied all of her stuff out of the house, clothes, everything. And into the truck it went. Then we said we got to go to the office and get further evidence. So we went to his office. Now, he had some people that worked at his office, and we went in there and she went in there and said, hi, surprise, I'm here to see Richard. Where is he? And they all like, he's out of town, Debbie. What do you mean? It's our anniversary. I'm here to have our anniversary. And look, I brought my son with me. Well, anyway, they're panicking because now the cat is clearly out of the bag. And so we ransacked that office. We brought a copy machine with us on the airplane, a little copy machine. We copied papers. We cloned hard drives. We got all the background information on him. In the end, it was responsible partly for a $10 million judgment against him in the Nevada court system, which resulted in forcing him into bankruptcy. So there was some justice served. Let me rewind to the wedding. My mother calls me on the phone and she says, Todd, can you come to my wedding? I didn't even know you were dating anybody. What do you mean? I didn't know.
Wait, you didn't know that your mother was dating him before?
Never had seen him, never heard about him, knew nothing about him.
Oh,
wow,
I didn't know
in
that.
effect, this reminds me of like that Nancy Pelosi line, well, you got to pass the bill so you could see what's in it. She says to me, well, you got to come to Florida to the wedding so you can meet him. And I'm like, well, okay, whatever. And by the way, I want you to give me away at the wedding because Grandpa, as you know, has passed away. So I want you to give me away. And I'm like, I haven't even met this guy. I called Carrie, and she's like, what? And she was in London, and she was living she was in the same building as Ava Gardner, the actress. I'm like, what? And she's like, well, I can't get there for this. I'm in the middle. I think it was like Star Wars 23 or something was being filmed. And so she couldn't come. So there I was. Uncle Bill flew with me. We went to Florida, and I meet Richard Hamlet at the hotel. and everybody is congenial. And at some point, I'm like, my mother wants us to kind of meet and get to know each other. So I'm like, okay. Well, Richard, let's go have a drink in the bar. I don't drink, but we'll have a whatever. So we go in the bar at this hotel. The two of us are just sitting in chairs like this, fairly close together. And I say, I think, like, my grandfather's not here, but I think he would want me to say something here. And, so I'm just going to say this. When I was younger, my mother, really got nailed and taken advantage of badly and hurt very badly in 2 very bad marriages. And I was very young when that happened. And I am much older now. I was about 30, let's say. And I was like, should anything like that ever happen again, I'm just going to say, you're going to have me to deal with. And he kind of laughed, and I kind of laughed. And he goes, oh, it sounds like a threat. I said, no, it's just a fact. I mean, it's like I am going to protect my mother no matter what. You should be aware of that. And we laughed and got along fine, and that was it. Oh, but the clip we ran, you got to go back to the last show and see the clip of Carrie describing Richard. Now, she's describing Richard in hindsight, of course. That interview with Carrie where she's describing Richard from the prior show. She calls, hey, how you doing? She's kind of like as a slick, kind of hustler guy. And looking back on it, there's some truth to that, but it really wasn't apparent yet because he was still very smooth or trying to get all of us into his confidence. This is where that term comes from, a confidence man. This guy's like running a long con on Debbie Reynolds and did it. The only thing is, I was much older. And I was by her side, and we came after him with all guns blazing. There was a scene in his office when he was leaving the hotel. He had a little office at the hotel, and he was on his way out because we had caught him, obviously, with all of this. Actually, I guess I should tell the story because she went away to Tahoe. She had a job like in Lake Tahoe, and so they went away together, and he went with her to Tahoe. And I called her on the phone after I had this information from the controller, and I said, I got to tell you, there's some problems here, major problems. And I gave her details about this money that had left the company and other things that had occurred, and I gave her that information. And so when Richard came in the room that time, she said, tell me about this stuff. And he pauses, she said. And like she knew at that moment, he didn't know how to respond quick enough to cover it. She knew it was all true at that moment. She said, a split second, I knew that was it. And that was, by the way, like the end of the end. I mean, because now he's cleaning out his office, and I'm mad, really mad. And I go in his office, and I'm like, I forgot what happened. I confronted him with something. And he was pissed at me because obviously I'm the whistleblower, right? Not really. If you think about it, the controller, who promptly quit, by the way, because she thought he was going to kill her because this guy had a bit of a reputation. She was really the one. Without her, I don't know if I wouldn't have found it out because I wasn't involved in the accounting. Anyway, long story short, I go in the office. My mom is in the outer office. And I go in there, and I'm telling you, I wanted a piece of this guy. Bad. And he jumped up behind his desk and started coming at me. And I went right at him. And my mother came in the room and grabbed me by the collar and was pulling me back. And I didn't want her to get hurt in the middle of all this, or I would have gone to blows with the guy. And he was a big guy. He was over 6 feet, 6'2", something like that. I'm 5'8". I didn't care. There's an old expression. It's not the size of the dog, but the size of the bite in the dog. And I'm telling you, I would have turned him apart. You'd been messing with my mother, and man, oh man, was I off the charts. But only she could have pulled me out of that. So she pulled me out of the room. That was the last time I saw Richard Hamlet. And that was the last time she saw Richard Hamlet. So that was an entertaining little bit. But this leads up to an interesting thing because our next show is going to be about the museum, which wasn't built yet. We were scrambling to get the friggin' showroom open. The hotel tower was open. Restaurant was open. We were doing jazz and jokes, and we had the bar open and other things, the lounge. But I'm telling you, we didn't have the money to do the museum. So that's going to be our teaser for next week. But
Yes.
having said that, while we were doing the shows, Richard's gone. You saw Thalia come there on the 1-year anniversary in our earlier clip. Now we're going to run you a surprise clip. My mother was loving doing her shows now. I mean, she's like on a roll, and you can hear her voice. She's in great voice. I mean, there was not a better time for her as a performer that I can remember. She was in her theater doing anything she wanted to do. There was absolutely nobody telling her how long, how short, how high, how low, whatever. It was like everything was her creative decision. So here's a clip from the showroom, from the hotel days, that led into an interesting little TV show that we did. So I think you'll enjoy this. Here we go.
I never knew
Go ahead, let it go. I'll take it.
the technical kissing. I never knew the thrill I could get from your touch. And if you just, you all could bring back to me. Do it now.
I got it.
Begin by
No, let it go.
clapping your hands. For the cause we need your help. Would you like to try the other side? Flim, flam, floozy with a Roy, Roy. Oh, you were a great audience. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Excuse me, Mom.
Sharing your
I'm sorry to bother you, but
Oh,
I've got somebody who needs to speak with you right away.
okay.
Michael?
Oh, dear.
Debbie, excuse the interruption, ladies and gentlemen. Excuse the interruption, thank you. It works if you point it at the mouth.
And here.
My name is Michael Aspel, and I've come from London on behalf of British Television to offer you a tribute and to say tonight, Debbie Reynolds, this is your life.
That's very nice. Thank you. This is my son, Todd Fisher. I know he looks like Eddie, but just forget it.
And can I thank Todd for being in on this, and he made it possible, so thank you very much. Thank you.
Well, I noticed the cameras kind of were around. I thought, oh gosh, Todd is...
Todd again.
That's Todd again, testing some more equipment. Really, that's what I thought. That's why I didn't stop and ask anything. That's why it's a surprise. Because this one, he's always, got new equipment going, trying new things for the theater, for the hotel. I love him.
Well, I hope it works, because this is where we're going to do it. And
This is
there
where
are
we're going to do it.
some
It'll work.
friends of yours are waiting backstage to tell the story.
All right, dear.
Do you want to stay or come with me?
All right. Am I going with you?
Thank you.
Oh.
See you soon.
Are you going to stay around? Are they coming?
Don't take long.
Are you? Okay, stay around. This is fun. Oh.
You know, of course, in all this, you can count on your favorite backroom boy, the man who's in charge of all this, your son, Todd.
That's right. Hello, honey.
Hello again.
Now, Todd, you showed me your mother's Hollywood collection, and is it true that one day she plans to be a part of it?
Well, yeah, she's asked me several times that she'd like to be stuffed and put in the museum. But I told her that I'd already made a deal with the Victorian Albert Museum in London.
Well, our gain is your loss. Thank you very much. Now, Debbie, Todd is the second of your children with Eddie Fisher, and when you got married in September 1955, you were headlined as America's Sweethearts. Your firstborn was to become Princess Leia in Star Wars and is now a successful author. We passed each other as I was coming here, in fact, but unfortunately, she was on her way to England. But that is show business.
There she is, right?
Yeah, and it's from London she talks to you now, Carrie Fisher.
Oh, my.
Mom, I came over to London because I thought they were shooting the This Is Your Life thing over here. Turns out they're shooting it in America, so I'm here for no reason for like weeks now. I'm joking. But as I recall, you were the best mom, I always thought, when I was, 14 and on, till now when they ran those best mother tributes, contests, whatever they run when you're little. And I always couldn't imagine having a better mother. You were the prettiest mother. You were the funnest mother, funniest one, the only one that would wear that ridiculous clown costume to the Roxbury Park Halloween thing that we went to. And you looked my age, which was annoying. Still is annoying. But I never thought anyone could have a better mom. So I still think that way, even though I'm stuck in London thinking it alone.
Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, so fun to hear from Carrie, right? Obviously, what happened there, and that whole, we'll try to make arrangements for that whole show to be part of our subscriber show, because we had everybody show up to that. I mean, all of my mom's posse, I call them. I believe it was. So, do you remember who was there? Did you watch the show, Seth? Come on up, by the way, because you're going to do the questions and all that anyway.
Questions as well.
All right. Well, at any
But,
rate, the bottom line here is that show would be probably available, like as we're going to do the Monday at the Movie shows and other shows, and even Debbie performances, we'll break those up. There's going to be stuff available on the subscription side of this thing. But no matter what happens, we'll tease the whole thing. I think you're behind Debbie.
Well, that's okay. I don't mind being behind Debbie.
Well, lean this way, and then we won't
Happy to be.
There you go.
Happy to be.
So you have questions?
Well,
Is that what
I'll
you're
let
trying to say?
Ryan lead because I know some people donated so their questions could get to the top of the list.
Oh, that.
So
Right.
we'll
So-
do that. But then you
Yep.
had said something. Oh, yeah, the name. So we have Ruta Lee was on that show. Ava Gabor was on that show. Ann Miller, Paula was there. So all of her friends showed up at the hotel for
Right.
that.
I remember what I call the posse being there, and but also like you saw her say hello to people. That was literally the non-famous people were there too.
Right.
So like the people she went to school with were there. It was really a nice, and I definitely caught her off. I mean, you see, she's like,
She was.
what is going on? I mean, I interrupted the freaking closing of her show.
Yeah.
And so it was fun. All right, Ryan. So you got a question for us here?
I do. I have a few. And if some people are asking questions here as I'm asking these, I
I'll go grab my
apologize for
phone.
not seeing them. But first one, what years were the casino open?
So
Exactly.
we opened in '93 and we closed in '98, and it was a year to get the showroom open, almost not quite. So '94, I believe it was October of '94 when we opened the showroom, and then a few months later we opened the museum. But as much as all of you heard, everything you just heard, the saga of what I just read to you, and there's lots more to it. It truly was a magical time. It really was.
Mm-hmm. Did Eddie or Liz Taylor ever come to the hotel? Someone wants to know.
Good question. Yes. And my dad actually came a few times with his new wife, Betty Lynn, who we had not really met yet. We didn't know her very well. And she came to the hotel, and they had just really been married a short period of time. And she takes me aside and she says, she had a little Chinese accent, so I'm not doing this to be, she's like, I give him the American Express card. He buy 40 suits. And I said, well, Betty, you have to understand, you never give my father a credit card, first of all. Or if you do, it needs to have a serious limit on it. She said, he buy suits in every color. And I'm like, okay, but you're dealing with a guy that's obsessed with clothes and other things.
Yeah.
It's like she just couldn't, she'd never seen anything like it. She was very wealthy so she could handle it, but it was like, but she was conservative to some degree as well. Yeah. And Liz had also come to visit my mom, but more on a personal level, like not in one of the, we didn't invite, like when we did the opening of the museum, we didn't even really invite her because it would have been too much of a scene. The opening museum, which you'll see next week, we had Roddy McDowell and a lot of her friends from MGM, but not Liz. It would have been a lot. Now, Liz had donated
the Richard
costumes, the Richard Burton costume, which she bought. And I remember talking to her on the phone. My mother said, and that was because of the hotel. I mean, that came up. She said, I want to help. And she said, well, you could buy, there's a big auction coming up. You could buy Richard Burton's costume, and it'll be donated from you. So she did. So at the auction, I handled it for her, but she bought the Richard Burton armor from the famous scene.
It went for quite a lot, too, if I recall.
Well, for the time, it was a lot, and it, of course, later went even more. But it was a really touching thing for her to do, because it was really the first time that anybody had bought anything for the museum. Now, Shirley MacLaine had donated her costumes to my mom, and they were tight. But this was the first time. Liz had nothing. She didn't have anything from the movies. So she bought something to give to my mother to put in the museum. So that was a direct result of that. So did I go on too long for an answer? No. Just checking.
And then I have two questions, sort of, well, not sort of, very unrelated to the hotel. One is there a fun memory about Carrie's appearance in the Ringo Starr video, You're 16, which she also sang in on one version?
Well, so there's a friend of ours, Richard Perry. He's the producer. And I was actually working with Richard on the Ringo Starr record at that time. So when he was recording that song and other things, everybody was pretty tight. And so, that was when she was asked to do that. My mother was really pushing Carrie to get back into singing and do some music. And so she really wanted her to do it. And Carrie was always sort of resistant to do what your mother says. Like most daughters with their mothers, they don't want to do what they're being told. So Carrie would always kind of go the opposite direction. But this looked like fun to her. She had also done the beach blanket bingo thing on Saturday Night Live.
Oh, that's right.
And she also had done some stuff with Penny Marshall on a Laverne and Shirley.
And SNL, they did the Playboy.
With Hefner. So the answer is, she just picked and chose those things. But the reason why it happened was because Richard Perry. Now, Richard Perry, let's back up. I've told you the story. Richard Perry shows up in New York when I'm 15, Carrie's 16, and we're upstairs in the brownstone, and all of a sudden, this wafting smell comes up the stairs of marijuana. And Carrie and I are like, what is going on? Because we didn't think this was, my mom was definitely not hip to any of this. So we got to come down the stairs, and we peek into the living room. And there's Richard Perry smoking a joint. My mom's sipping on her little wine, and he's smoking a joint. And my mother goes, oh, come on in, children. I'm just having my little wine. He's having his little marijuana cigarette. And so we got introduced.
Marijuana cigarette.
So that's when we got introduced to Richard. Now, at this moment, Carrie's in the chorus of Irene. We're not even thinking Star Wars or Ringo or anything else. But my mother, right at that moment, says to Richard, oh, you have to hear Carrie sing, and you got to do a thing with her because she's amazing. And Carrie, of course, wants nothing to do with any of that. Segue forward, all these years, there we are doing that show, and she finally gives in to do it. But really, ever since the nightclub days, Carrie kind of went dark on her singing. Of course, Star Wars wasn't a bad fill-in for the time. How was that?
Fantastic. And the last question I have.
I just don't do soft answers, right?
Well, that's okay. I think
No,
people
that's
like that.
part of your allure.
Okay.
Yep. The last one is this one you might have to condense a little bit. How did you and Kat meet?
Who? Oh,
Kat, your wife.
I know. I'm teasing. So, yeah, you're right. It's long, but let's do it. We met a long time ago at the Hiding Place Church, which is a church that Henry Catrona and I founded back in the early 80s. And she had come to the church even with Hasselhoff, her first husband, so to speak. And she was a member of that church. And I don't really remember her that well. She seems to remember me more. But it was also because I was sort of in the forefront.
Yeah, you spoke at the church a lot.
Right. Not a lot, but Henry was really, he was the pastor. They kept trying to get me to be a pastor, and I was like, yeah, right. I mean, you see me a pastor of a church. On the other hand, people related a lot to me going off on my little stories and tangents and things. So, needless to say. But anyway, segue forward like 32 years. I'm on the phone with Henry, and I was like, "What are you doing, man?" I was in California at the ranch in Creston, and he says, "Well, I'm sitting here with this girl, Catherine Hickland, who I'm working on her hypnosis video, blah blah blah." And it's like, "Oh,
Do you know what? Funny, can I interrupt for a minute?
Of course.
I was
You were
there
there
when that call was made. I was there in
Oh,
the
you
room.
were?
I love
I
it."
was in the room. She had just moved to Las Vegas.
I did not know this
We were in
part.
Henry's recording studio.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
And so I said to Henry, "Oh, okay." So, and he's like, "Yeah, she's pretty cool, and you might remember her from the old days." And I go, "I don't know. I don't really remember her that I could say right now." And anyway, so when that call was over, I looked her up on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh, if I don't remember, I should have." But I thought to myself, she's beautiful. And then I was doing a little background on it, and I thought, I'd been, so my wife had died like a year and a half before this. And so, but Carrie was getting mad at me. She was like, "What are you doing? Why aren't you, back in the saddle, so to speak?" And I was like, "Well, you don't understand quite what it's like. It's like, it's like, what's the rush?" She goes, "I know you. You need to be with a girl, blah, blah, blah." So she was pushing all the time. So I thought, well, let me, before I do anything about this, I'm going to ask Henry. So I call Henry on the cold, and I say, "Hey, man, so tell me about this girl, He goes, "Oh, man, she's one of us." I was like, "What?" He had never said that about a female. It's like, that is a compliment. Like, I was like, well, I got to pay attention to this. What do you mean? It was like, that was the highest compliment. So that was really what opened the door for me then to get in touch with her initially through Facebook. And then on the phone, I texted her. I said, "Well, you want to talk?" And we ended up talking for really a long time, which neither one of us do. We don't like talking. I hate small talk. She hates small talk, chit chat. None of that goes on around here. But we ended up talking a lot. And then I eventually said, "Well, I think I really would like to meet you in person." And she's in Vegas, right? And she had a broken foot. So she was like, "Well, my foot's broken. I really don't want to see you right now." And so I kind of waited a couple of weeks. And at a certain point, I was like, "You know what, man? I'm not waiting anymore. I'm coming to Vegas. If you don't want to see me, that's your problem. I'm rolling up with my bus. Got a 40-foot diesel pusher motorhome. I'll be parked in front of Henry's house. If you feel like seeing me, great." Because that's my personality. Now, she might be used to these lightweight guys, but I'm not one of them. I was like, no. This is the way this is going. So I roll up into Henry's house, and she was there. Because, she was, and I'm telling you, for those of you that do not believe in this, because I sure did not, the moment I laid eyes on her, I was like, it was like had there been John Williams nearby, there was like, seriously, it was like
the orchestra
bells
swelled.
Are ringing for me and my gal. No, seriously, there was like a magnetism that was palpable. And we went inside and hung out with Henry. We had a meal and all this, and the thing that really sealed the deal was Henry had ordered pizza for all of us to have for food. And she said, "I don't like raw tomatoes." I was like, That's it. That's it.
That's it.
Because I don't like raw. I like tomato sauce. I don't like raw tomatoes and all that slimy stuff and the seeds. Ugh. You know, and she did, and she was like on the same path. And so, like, what else could there possibly be necessary to have in common? I ask you. But truly, it was love at first sight. And honestly, I didn't really believe in that prior to that moment. So I do now.
Aw,
I could say more, but
that's a
would
great
you say that I said
story.
enough? Ryan, you're the judge. Go.
Great answer.
Great answer. Okay.
I think it was
Great
They got their
story.
money's worth?
The tomatoes is all you needed to say.
Right.
Exactly.
I think it's important that everybody identify the kryptonite. And in my case, it was the slimy tomatoes, and the same thing with her. I had to take it to that level for the science fiction fans.
Oh, no, that's great.
That's all I've got.
That's all. Okay, so I have one statement that I just wanted to say from someone before we move on to giveaways. So someone said that after hearing this story about the hotel and Richard and all of the things you and your mom had to overcome, that it would make for such a great biopic.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
I hear what you're saying. So in my book, obviously, I tell this story. My mother tells it in her book. I intend at some point, when I get a spare moment, to do like a 20 or 30 part series about the whole saga. But the hotel, you can imagine, could take up many episodes. It's a great soap opera. I mean, we went to ABC, my mother and I, and pitched a soap opera at the hotel. But right when reality shows were starting. So this is like, I'm going to say this is like 95. We went to ABC. We sat down at ABC. And we said, they said, we want Debbie to do this. And we said, well, we want it to be about the hotel. So we've got the cross-dressing museum curator that goes out in the middle of the night wearing dresses from the museum, and Debbie catches them. You've got...
Wait, what? What?
You like all the characters we were going to have. Randy Hendrickson was going to be the cross-dressing... You would be you today. You would
I
like
was about
that
to say, it sounds like so. I was about to say
you
someone.
were made for it. But
I just
imagine
can't squeeze into that dress.
You'd love that. Well, he could. He had a narrow ass. But the idea was we had all these major characters, but you could imagine that we were going through all the sagas like I just did, and then we would spin in all the fun. But the hotel was very interesting. And, you know, the Enquirer had just done a story. What sort of triggered this was the Enquirer had interviewed me about the hotel. And they said, well, is it true that some people were selling crack cocaine out of the back of the hotel? I said, yes, that actually did happen. And of course, we had to let them go. But people did get their phone number. But other than that, we had to let them go from the hotel. And then they said, is it true that some of the employees are having sex in the hotel rooms? I said, only the ones that are not rented, and at least they're getting some use in the downtime. And I was joking, and they printed, of course, all of it.
What you said.
And I was joking, but it got a lot of attention. And that's what leads to them thinking, well, this would make one hell of a soap opera. With Debbie in the lead, it's like, it's a magic thing. Carrie coming and going, whatever. You would have a lot going on. Well, they were so stupid because they were like, no, we have to do this here on a soundstage. I'm like, no, the magic is there. I'm like, this is a reality show. We'll script it. And you can have whatever control you normally would have, but it has to be there. It's like, that's the only way we can do it because we can't close the hotel, so you can do a show over here at ABC.
Yeah.
You know, and so they turned it down because they wanted control, and they thought they would we'll build sets here. You can have all these sets on this stage. And my mother's like, I'm not leaving my property, you know, for this. So if you want me, this is how you get me. And that's how the deal fell apart.
Wow.
By the way, I got blamed, you know, for that deal not going through because they thought that I was stopping her and needed her to be the hotel. Like as if the hotel was my idea to begin with. It's like, look, this is her thing. You know, do what she wants and you can have her.
Wow, that's crazy.
So there
that
you
would
go.
have been a great reality show. My gosh, the Osbournes were something, but that would have been.
It was something else. That would have been. It's the same. But we'll do it. That's
I
my
would have
point.
watched.
Yes,
no,
we're
but
still.
that's my point. We'll do that in the series. You know, you'll see the soap opera. That's what really was going on. I mean, there was just, well, I'm not going to do it right now. It's endless stories. Let's put it that way. I mean,
Yes.
the chief of security got caught stealing meat because I had put in surveillance cameras. He was stealing meat out of the walk-in freezer and taking it home. So I had to replace. I fired all the security guards, and I put this little Marine, Judy DiCarlo, little Marine, 5 foot tall. She was a Marine Corps girl, butch haircut. put her in charge. And that was it. No, nothing else ever disappeared after that. Put the pit bull in charge. I mean, there was a lot of characters, trust me.
Wow. Well, anyway.
Giveaways.
Giveaway. Well,
Magic Wheel. Are we
Giveaways.
doing Magic Wheel first, or what are you doing?
We are doing the regular giveaways first, and I'm going to share that screen
we have
with
6 giveaways.
All right, so I do have you can have Kat's camera if you look at that.
Let me go
You're
get
in
this.
it right now.
Okay, well, I'm going to go run and get the 6th giveaway.
Stuff.
I
Okay,
have one more.
So we're going to do, well, you can go ahead and we can roll a wheel, right, even before it? Well, how far away are the giveaways?
No, right here. It's just something I forgot
Okay,
to
they're
get.
nearby. He was running to this door. I thought, well, we're just got to go down to the 7-Eleven to get the giveaway. Okay, so Ryan, I guess we should go ahead and
hit it.
Hit it.
Hey, look at our upgrade to the wheel. We've got the little
look,
logo
we've got
in
the
middle
logo in the
there.
reel.
Oh,
It's
I didn't see
a
that.
color scheme.
That looks like a CD. Okay.
Yeah, we've upgraded here. All right, so here we go.
And I gotta get
All right, the first now Kat said we're doing more than we're going to do, but we're going to do
6
less because we're doing the other giveaways also. So there is Mandy Brinson. I hope I pronounced that right. Kat's way better than I am. So Mandy, you are the winner of the first giveaway item, which is
a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com. Cat's fantastic makeup company. We have makeup, skincare. We have muscle gels for aching joints. I mean, it is so fantastic. So catcosmetics.com, Mandy. And if you
You're the
just
winner.
send an email to your no, what is it, Ryan? I'm sorry. Cat.
I just put it in the chat. It's catandtoddlive@gmail.com.
Perfect.
All right, so those of you that are the winners, follow those instructions or you got nothing.
Yes, please.
Okay, next item.
Next one.
Go. Here comes the next winner.
Dun, 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 dun.
Drum roll. Gina Baselli.
Gina Baselli.
Baselli. It sounds like an
It's
Italian name to
Italian.
me. When you see that vowel, you know what to do, right? Okay, so what did Gina win?
She also won a $25 gift certificate to catcosmetics.com.
Now, we're usually more imaginative to this, but I will say this. That's probably one of our best gifts. You know, even though...
Yeah. Well, it is because you can get anything with it, and we have a fantastic moisturizer, elastin collagen cream that a lot of you love, and it just came back into
How
stock.
about that lip gloss you're wearing there?
Oh, yeah, this is stunning metal lip gloss, yes.
See? I can't say I have any of her products on right now, but, you know.
But for the boys...
To each his own.
Yes, well, for the boys who don't look like me, you know, you can do the skincare. We have fantastic skincare.
I do use the skincare, which is why I only look my age. Because if everything has happened to me, I should look at least 20 years older. All right, Ryan, you're up.
That's true.
All right, next item, next giveaway, next person.
Okay.
Next winner is...
The next winner is Susan Hirsch, yes.
Now, do you know these people?
I know some of the names, yes. I know some of the names.
I apologize if I don't do... Kat is so good at remembering everybody's name.
I know a lot of these names.
All right,
some of them
so
are new for me.
There you
but
go. Here's
I know
the
Susan.
next winner. Ooh.
So, Susan, you have won a copy of Athena, the 1955 Debbie Reynolds Jane Powell musical. And it is from Time Warner, our friends at
That's
Time
right.
Warner, who help sponsor the show.
It's actually, it's now the Warner Archives. Time sold the company. I just want to remind everybody.
yeah,
Remember
that's
what I
right.
said.
Warner.
So it's the Warner Archives and all of the film library. So they're still our sponsor, but the Warner's, the Time people sold out. So we dropped that, and we're just with the Warner Archives, and they have new owners. And a lot of things that I announced, I think a week or two ago, that relationship is expanding. We're going to do pre-releases of movies and stuff here, and you'll be able to buy movies as well as continue with the giveaways from them. But we encourage you to have a collection of your favorite films, whatever they may be. And if we can turn you on to some fun films to own, we will, because that is what we're good at. What's next? Go
All
for
right.
it. All right. This is the
Hit it,
fourth item.
Louise.
The fourth item.
Okay.
There's a familiar name.
Julie Hedges, who I miss. I know Kat misses you too. We miss you being here in Vegas, Julie, but congratulations. Speaking of collectibles, now, Julie, you might have these things because you've been to our
can
claim sales
request
and
a
everything.
a
So
transfer.
if you would like something else, just let us know. But you have won For speaking of collectibles, from the hotel gift shop, an Unsinkable Molly Brown vintage cassette. And
Sealed.
Sealed, which it'll still work if you'd play it, if you'd want to, if you have a cassette player. And also a postcard of Debbie as the Unsinkable Molly Brown,
And it actually
copied
says
from
the hotel on the back of that.
Yep.
It's actually
305 Convention Center Drive.
right. It's actually a product that we sold in the gift shop. In fact, we have clips that show the gift shop, but maybe next week.
Yeah,
or
maybe
something.
we can run some of those if you guys comment if you'd like to see some of that, what you would like to see
Well,
going into our final
first of all,
chapter.
let us know if you liked
of the hotel.
clips and what you like, because next week is going to be the final show on the hotel. So if there's something that you really want to see that we didn't show you or I didn't talk about, let us know. Because I have to admit, it's a story of stories. I mean, it's second only to the greatest story ever told. So
Well, that's the greatest Vegas story ever told.
It's up there on the list. It's certainly like oceans of some sort. So now, wait a minute. Are we doing another one?
Yeah, we have 2 more, so we're
Two
going to do
more.
6
Yeah,
giveaways, and
2
then we're
more.
going to do the big one.
Okay, here we
And
go.
sign off.
Oh, look, there's another familiar name.
Debbie Rouse. Oh my goodness, Debbie Rouse. Well, I think we should give because she's named after your mom, I believe.
Does she have that?
Well, she might. But if you do, Debbie, you just let me know, and we'll give you something else from the collection, of course. But this is also from the hotel. This is your mom's program from her Vegas show.
Yes.
At the hotel, and it has a beautiful one of Kat says it's her favorite. It's also
Well, it
my
actually
favorite of
has
Debbie.
in the just to show them the middle
Pictures.
which actually has that.
Oh yes, so the hotel is featured in here, and you're featured in here right near your mom in the Star Theater, and it has it's beautiful. It has a bunch of pages all about Debbie and the hotel, and it's a great collectible.
What happened is we had a bunch
So
of these
congratulations,
printed
Debbie.
before the hotel closed, so we had a pretty good supply of these, fortunately, and it's a really kind of a fun thing to have. There's a lot of decent, fun information in there. It's a good collectible. All right, next item.
And our final item in the normal giveaway section.
Okay, the normal. If there is a normal on this show,
I
or
don't-
anything
I-
to do-
well.
the word normal in this family just does not
exist.
Sound right. Okay, Pamela Lang.
Pamela
Wow.
Lang, congratulations, Pamela. So you have won the Best of Debbie Reynolds CD, also from the hotel. This features Tammy, Am I That Easy to Forget, Abba
That's
Dabba
the
Dabba
one.
Dabba.
Am I that easy to forget?
Yeah, they say you found somebody new, but
She
that
really
won't
kills
stop
that.
my loving you. It's a good song.
Exactly.
And so it's a great CD from the hotel gift shop as well. And that is it for our normal giveaways. And also, if we don't have your address, please just shoot us an email that Ryan put the email in the comments, catandtoddlive@gmail.com, and we'll get that to you.
All right,
So-
there. So now Seth is. Oh, now we're moving on.
Now we're going to do, before we close,
We have just for effect, we have the super wheel giveaway.
Aha, the
Super
super wheel giveaway. That's what I was saying.
Yes.
Come on down. That's what it
So,
sounds
with
like.
that said, everyone who donated to the show last week,
Is on the wheel.
your name is on the wheel.
And
So
everyone-
you'll be getting something
Oh, let me have
more
the
special.
picture,
And
which
then
is-
everyone tonight, and there were quite a few of you, so thank you, thank you, thank you. All of you tonight will be in on this wheel next week.
And here is the prize is going to be the Frank Worth photograph that's stamped by the estate of Frank Worth. And this is a great candid behind-the-scenes studio shot of Kirk Douglas. I'm not sure. I think it's the bad and the beautiful, but I'm just guessing. Honestly, somebody might know.
either way, girls, hang this in your bathroom. It's
Well,
cute.
it's just a cool Kirk Douglas picture, and nobody does it better than Frank Worth on these candid shots.
Yeah.
So, but that's $100 item.
Value.
You know, so this is a significant. We're trying to make it really fun and exciting for people.
So for
For the winning side, there you go.
Donating.
So let's do it.
and anybody,
Okay, one name. Here you go. Your odds are 1 out of 10.
and if
Well,
you
oh, that's
donate
pretty
this
good.
week, you'll be in the selection for next week. Who is it? Who is it? Andrea Sodman.
All right.
Yes.
Congratulations, Andrea.
All right. So you win the Kirk Douglas Frank Worth photograph, which is a very nice collectible item. Some people, get their favorite. He took pictures of so many stars. It's amazing.
Oh, well, he really, I mean, he captured some of Monroe, some of the greatest, and Liz, some of the greatest images that are still around of the two
we
of
do
them.
have these images, some of them available on the studio store.
At
don't
the
we?
Debbie Reynolds Studio Store. And speaking of, before we go, we'll show our auction items one last time, and those will be up tonight, starting tonight, because our last auctions have now closed officially on the
Okay.
Debbie Reynolds Studio Store.com. And so these two items that Todd's going to show are also going to be up for auction for the full week at the Debbie Reynolds Studio Store.com.
Okay. All right, so I guess we'll run through
Did I do
those.
that okay, Ryan?
You did it beautifully. So we'll run
Fantastic.
through. So we're going to run through these very quickly. There's no particular order. This is an original, like mint condition, Screen Star magazine. I didn't catch the date, but obviously it's the Carl era. So this is like 1960 probably, but it's autographed by my mom, which is unusual because I have a lot of these, but very few are signed, if any of mine.
Yeah, and they're in mint condition. Look at
This
that.
is in mint shape in the plastic and all of that. But it's the whole magazine, too. It looks like somebody put this in here like long ago and never touched it. Next item was...
Right on the floor?
We're only doing 2, right?
We're only doing 2 this
Okay.
week, yeah.
So this is a beautiful silver sterling. It's plated. Like a lot of the stuff I've been selling has been solid sterling, which actually is, you're paying a lot just for that. But this is stunning, and it's soft metal, very much like it was sterling. In fact, I thought it was sterling, but I had it checked, and it's not sterling, but my mother chose it. So this was a serving dish. You could see the beautiful rose pattern. And the reason why she had this is because her flatware set was Stieff rose. That was the pattern, and it was a rose pattern silverware set. So this was a beautiful serving dish. Probably, you could put anything you want in there in Thanksgiving or whatever, but I would use it. We have quite a bit of this stuff, so I'm trying to share what I can, what I don't think we'll use with you. But this is a spectacular Greenway piece. So there's your 2 items from
Boom.
tonight's auction. We did a new kind of giveaway. It's like every week. And remember, we're going to be posting new stuff all the time. We're a little slow on getting some of this stuff up, but we're going to be posting a lot of things regularly, but also segments even from each show. If you don't want to watch this entire saga show again, we're going to run little episodes. Like we're going to put the Jane Russell segment up about Howard Hughes making the bra for her, and then eventually that'll lead to the entire show and other interviews that'll be available. So the Monday at the Movies series will only be available on our website.
Yeah, we just
in the future.
Yeah, we just posted. Well, I should say Ryan just posted on this channel a great interview with Kat and Hillary B. Smith from a few years ago for the One Life to Live fans. So you should go take a look at that. It's really good stuff.
Exactly. Now, yeah. So that reminds me, you should go back. For those of you that are interested, you should look at the little videos that are going up because there are some outtakes from shows and a lot of clips and things that are going to start appearing that I think hopefully will entertain you. They sure as hell entertained me.
And you lived it. You lived to tell the tale.
I think I did.
You're still here.
As
Good
my
times
mother
and bum
says,
times.
I'm still here. Good times and bum times.
I'm going to go
I've seen them all,
over
my
here
dear.
so I can run the
I'm
closing
still
clip
here.
later.
All right. So I think, have we arrived? Have we landed?
I think
Ryan?
we
did it.
We have landed. It was a fantastic show. People loved it.
The Eagle has landed.
The Eagle has landed.
All right. Well, then
Kat's in the chat. Thank you for staying with us, Kat.
We love you and miss you. I was just about to say the show's not the same without you sitting here.
Yeah, I know. And look what I had to do. I had to fill up the set with my mom's dress from the hotel. Although I will admit, this is a spectacular painting of her in that dress. That's a Mackie, right?
That one is a Mackie, yes, that
that's a Bob
dress.
Mackie, but look at that beautiful painting of her in that dress. One of my favorite paintings of my mom, for sure. So having said that, good night, everybody. We had a great time. We hope you did too. We'll see you next week. And we're going to run for you our opening clip again. For those of you who didn't see it.
We're going to run Debbie performing in the Star Theater.
Oh.
Never
something
before
you didn't
seen.
see. Now you guys are going to have to stay around and watch this. This is Debbie performing in the Star Theater at her hotel and casino, probably around 94, 95. So have fun watching this.
Now, I'd like to if I may, I'd like to dedicate my only hit to our folks here today that are celebrating their anniversary or birthday, perhaps. See, I have a hit song. Some performers have medleys of hits, but I only have one, so you're going to have to share it. It'll just take a minute. This was a little movie I made called Tammy, And I remember it really well. See, we did the song in the movie, and I didn't ever do it as a record. So it was a big surprise to everybody that this became a hit, especially to my husband. I was married to my first husband at the time, Eddie Fischetti. You know, he had like 27 gold records. And this song, when it became a real big hit, it really ticked him off. So I have one happy memory. Yes, sir. Here's Tammy. I hear the cottonwoods whispering above. Tammy, Tammy, Tammy's in love. The old hooty owl, hooty hoos to the dove. Tammy, Tammy, Tammy's in love. Does my lover feel what I feel when he comes near? My heart beats so joyfully. You'd think that he could hear. Wish I knew if he knew what I'm dreaming of. Tammy, Tammy, Tammy's in love. Happy anniversary. Thank you. Thank you very much.